I just had to let you know you're.
Hi everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Aprilia Merditasari with NPM A1B025144. Today, I will present a research article from the European Journal of Social Psychology published in 2025. It's our stereotype about minority are more negative. The study investigates whether stereotypes about minority groups are generally more negative than stereotypes about majority groups. The research was conducted across 7 Western European countries and focused on the relationship between group size and stereotype prevalence, meaning whether the stereotypes are prevalent as positive or negative. This topic is important because stereotypes can influence discrimination in many aspects of life, such as education, employment, healthcare, and social interaction. The minority disadvantage. 1. Systematic barriers. Social, ethnic, and sexual minority face systematic discrimination in education, hiring, healthcare, and justice system, often driven by negative social prejudice. This section explains that minority groups often experience systematic discrimination in society. Examples include inequal treatment in education, discrimination in hiring, limited healthcare access, and unfair treatment in legal system. These barriers are often driven by negative social prejudice and stereotypes. This shows that stereotypes are not just personal opinion, but can also shape social structure and opportunities. 2. The empirical gap. While negative stereotypes are well documented for specific groups, there has been no systematic test of whether stereotypes balance decreases continuously with group size across various social domains. Previous studies have already documented negative stereotypes toward specific minority groups. However, there have been no large-scale empirical study testing whether stereotypes negatively constantly increase as a group size decreases. This research attempts to fill that gap using multidimensional data and systematic analysis. Motivational versus cognitive models. Motivational in-group bias. According to social identity theory, individuals favor their own groups because minority has outgrouped the majority population. Default in-group bias aggravates as minority derogation. The first explanation comes for social identity theory. According to this theory, people naturally favor their own social groups, also known as in-group. Because minority are considered outgroups, majority members may considerately develop more negative attitude towards them. Simple example, people often feel more comfortable with individuals they see as similar to themselves. Cognitive ecology novelty. As we can see in the screen, the explanation is based on cognitive process. This theory suggests that the human mind pays more attention to rare and unusual groups. Since minorities are smaller in number, they become more noticeable, and people may unintentionally associate them with negative characteristics. Study design and scope. This slide explanation how the research was conducted. This phenomenon is called illusory correlation. Scope we can see at the screen. At the phase 1, in the first phase, participants were asked to write one characteristic or trait commonly coordinate with a particular group. This method allowed research to capture spontaneous stereotypes from society. Phase 2. Next, participants rate whether the traits were positive or negative using a scale from -4, meaning very negative, to +4, meaning very positive. And next, validation. The research also used AI technology, specifically GPT, to vary whether the listed traits were objectively positive or negative without knowing the group labels. This was done to reduce human bias during the evolution. The result provides strong evidence that stereotypes about minority groups tend to be more negative. The effect size indicates a strong relationship between group status and stereotype violence. This means that the more of group in prevalence as majority group, the more positive the stereotypes tend to be. Importantly, these patterns remain consistent even after controlling for other variables, which changes the validity of the findings. Consistency across different social domains. The research found that these patterns was consistent across different social domains. In sexual orientation, heterosexual majority were generally evaluated more positively than LGBTQ minority. In ethical and demographic categories, national majority tended to receive more favorable evaluation than immigrants or ethnic minority. Similar patterns were also observed in religious and political groups, although some variation appeared in certain categories. And can we see at the screen, this pattern cannot be explained only by in-group favoritism, but also by broader cognitive and social mechanisms. These findings are important because they help us understand how stereotypes develop and how they contribute to social equality within society.
I just had to let you know you're